Hi guys, welcome to another Learn Electronics Repair video. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Quite often I get repair jobs coming into the workshop where there's basically nothing wrong with the computer, but the customer has lost the data on the hard drive. So they may have had a computer that's crashed and they're now getting a blue screen, they can't boot into Windows anymore. Or they may have done something silly like deleted a lot of files by putting them into the recycle bin and then emptying the bin only to realise later they needed the files. There's a whole range of scenarios why a customer might have had these problems, whether they were accidentally self-inflicted or whether some hardware just failed at random on them. So to solve these sort of problems, we need some sort of data recovery software. And I've tried a few different ones in the past, some much easier or harder to use than others. But recently, a company called Tenorshare contacted me, who makes some software called IFPFZHDO, which is a very easy to use data recovery package. It will allow you to recover data from internal hard drive, external hard drives, SD cards, USB drives, and all sorts of devices that might be containing data. And they asked me if I would like to have a look at their software and test to see how well it works. Of course, I happily accepted the invitation, and I thought, hey, I have some challenges to offer to this software. So what I have, and I explained this to Tenorshare, and they are confident their software will work in these situations. This is a Seagate hard drive, 2 terabyte. Now I'm going to emulate a problem that a customer had a little while ago. They had put a lot of folders into the recycle bin. The problem was that the folders all contained the contents of a DVD disc. Each folder contained a different DVD disc. In the folders, you would have a set of 10 files, and the 10 files would have exactly the same file names as each of the other folders, and they had quite a lot of folders. And the folders were numbered simply 001, 002, and so on. So I tried to recover the data for this customer in this situation. And what happened is I was using some free software, but it couldn't do the job. And the reason being that because the files had the same name, so there was multiple instances of files with the same name but different data, it got confused and it basically found one set of files. It wouldn't find them all. So I want to recreate that situation on this drive, and let's see if Tenorshare IFPDEOIV will work where the other application I was using failed. The second hard drive I want to attempt to recover is this one. This is actually a customer's hard drive, and it came in an external USB enclosure. So I have, as you can see here, the USB enclosure. And the problem with this is that when the drive is in the enclosure and you attach it to a PC, the PC will not see the drive. It's not there. If you take the hard drive out of all this enclosure and connect it to the SATA interface on the PC, the computer will hang when you first boot up. It will not go into the BIOS, it will not load Windows, but if you leave it for 2 or 3 minutes, it will load Windows. It does see the drive as a D drive if it's the second drive, but if you then right click on the drive to read the properties or try to open the drive, the computer kind of goes asleep for another 2 or 3 minutes and then eventually comes back and says the drive has 0 bytes free space and contains 0 bytes of data. And yet there's a lot of data on this 3 terabyte drive. This has been here for quite some time. I've never been able to recover the data from it. I've tried a couple of different things. So this is the real challenge. Can Tenorshare IFPDEOIV recover this drive? Okay, so let's get started. Let's have a look at the hard drive with the DVD files on. So I have a hard drive here. There's 126 folders. And each one, if we look at it, contains the files from a DVD. So we can look at another one and it's the same. You'll see there are 10 files. And the folder has a capacity 4.36 gigabytes. And we can look at another one and you'll see exactly the same names of the 10 files. And we can look at the properties, slightly different size. So basically each of these folders will contain the same set of file names, although the size of the folder may vary slightly, but the contents are different, so each one is a different DVD movie basically. So what this customer had done previously, he'd taken some of the folders, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let's have a few at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's have 9 as well for good measure. So this customer had put the files into the recycle bin. And we can see clearly there are our folders in the recycle bin. Now normally to recover these, we can just effectively recover them. We can drag them back out. Yeah, we can bring them back out of the recycle bin. But what he had done, as we all do, is empty recycle bin. It's asking now if I want to permanently delete these 5 items. I've said yes. And now the recycle bin is empty. And our files are gone. But let's say now we suddenly realise we want these files back. How are we going to get them back? Because Windows tells us they're deleted permanently, they're gone. It gives us no option to get the files back. So to do this, I'm going to use Tenorshare. Now we can see we have 2 hard drives. The C drive is just a little SSD. I use this machine for testing mainly. I don't need a very large drive. And this is the data drive, the 2 terabytes. So we're going to need somewhere to recover the files to. I've deleted 5 folders. It must be 20 something gigabytes of data. So I'm going to add another hard drive to the system as a target drive to recover our data to. And then let's have a look at the Tenorshare software and see if we can actually get our folders back. I've restarted the computer. You can see I've added another hard drive. This is a 1 terabyte drive. It's half the size of the drive I'm recovering from, but it only needs to be big enough to hold the data. I've actually formatted the drive. It's now empty, but it's not necessary to do that. You can recover to a folder on the drive which has other data already on. You will not overwrite the data with the software, but I've formatted it. We can see our folders are still missing and the recycle bin is still empty. So let's now download the Tenorshare software and see if it can help us to recover our files. This is the Tenorshare 4DDIG web page. We can have a look around here and we can see that the software is free to download. It will recover deleted files. It will recover formatted drives, SSDs, hard drives, SD cards, USB, all sorts of drives. It will also recover lost partitions. This may help us with our drive which says it has 0 bytes available and 0 bytes free. We can have a look. You can use it to create a bootable USB drive which will allow you to boot up a crashed computer which will not access Windows and then recover files. So black screen, blue screen of death and all these sort of problems. You can still access your data on the drive, raw file recovery. It recovers many types of data. It gives you some example here: photos, video, audio, office documents, emails. These are the most common things that people want back when they lose data, but it will actually recover thousands of different types of files. The free software will allow you to scan your device and preview the files, so you can actually have a quick look to see if the files are actually available. You can preview them. If you want to recover your data, then you have to upgrade to the paid version. However, The great news is, if you follow the link from this video in the description, you will get 30% discount. You can stop this scan partway through. You don't have to scan the entire drive, which can take a very long time. You can see the files that it's already found, so you can stop it once you can see the files that you want to recover, rather than having to wait maybe a very long time to scan the entire drive. Tenorshare 4DDIG also will repair video files. Gives you some different formats here, which cover probably the most common ones, certainly the ones I use. Recovers corrupted video from cameras, camcorders, drones, etc. So you can see this really has a lot of features and will cover data loss and recovery in a lot of different situations. Let's have a quick look at the options to buy the software. So assuming you can see your data, we can then actually buy a 1 month license, a 1 year or a lifetime license. Now bear in mind that I have a code on this video which will give you 30% off. Okay, so we have a code to give you 30% off the price. Now let's download the software and let's have a look to see how well it works and whether it will recover our data and it will be worth us buying it to do so. The software is available for Windows and Mac. I'm using Windows, so we can download the software. And now I can install it. It's saying to avoid further data corruption, install the program on a drive different to the one where your data is lost. That's normal for any recovery software. That's a rule of thumb. It's nothing specific to this software, but it is important to do so. I'm going to install on the C drive. Let's see how long it takes. By the looks of things, not very long. It's done. We can now close these windows and we can start our software. And it's running. Let's have a look at the hard drives. Let's see what it's found. Well, it gives us an option to recover data from the C drive, the E drive. This is the one with the deleted files, and this is the empty drive. Although it may actually see some data on here because it's been previously formatted, and you can recover data from formatted drives. However, it gives us some other locations, data missing from the desktop, from the recycle bin. Perfect. It now asks us what type of files we want to recover. Ours are actually video files, but I'm quite happy to tell it just to scan for all file types, just to see what it is able to find. So it's now scanning. You can see it's not taking very long. Let's see how long it takes to find our files. Okay, it's found 8,441 files. Bear in mind there will be a lot of files in the recycle bin from the C drive. I want to see if we can find our files. Our files were on the E drive, I believe. Yeah. And here you can see recycle bin and deleted files. Let's have a look to see what's inside these. Oh, in the recycle bin, straight away, I can see some folders. Now it appears that the first folder, it has come with a rather unusual file name. I can see 103, 104, 105, 109. Let's have a look at these. So each one, yes, that contains a video TS, and there are our 10 files. Okay, so it's definitely finding the files and folders. Let's have a look at this one. Is this our other one, the folder 102? Yes, it is. So although it's changed the name on this one folder, it's still found it, and it's found all the other folders by name. Let's see if we can now recover the data in our folders. I'll select all of the folders. I can see in the corner here it's showing me how much data I'm going to recover. Yep, 36 files, 51 files. So as I expected, about 22 gigabytes of data. Now let's try to recover that. I'm now being asked to select a path where I want to save the recovered files. And I'm going to tell it to use the F drive. So we'll go to the F drive and I'll create a folder to hold the recovered files. I'm going to call it Lazarus. I'm sure someone will work out why I called it that. If not, you'll have to Google it, guys. Anyway, let's see if we can recover our data. It's now saying the path I selected is in the lost partition. I'm sure that's because it scanned the F drive and it knows it is a formatted drive which it would be able to recover files from. However, I've formatted the drive because I wanted to. There was nothing on there I want, so I'm going to tell it to recover to there. Again, now it's just reminding me it recommends you restore the data to a removable disk. However, I'm happy to recover it to this one. And now it's recovering the files. Let's see how long it takes. The recovery is now completed, so we're being offered the chance to view the recovered files. Let's have a look. Here is our folder called E, recycle bin, and there are our 5 folders. This one, although it lost the file name, we can just rename this one to 102. And we can check, we should have the same set of files in there. Yep, there they are. And we can see, yep, 4.29 gigabytes, the correct size. So we could now quite easily copy these files back to our drive where we originally put them in the recycle bin. But I'm quite happy we have the data, it's there. So let's have a look at the second problem. Let's put the other hard drive on the computer. I've connected the 3 terabyte hard drive. This is the one that really upsets the PC. So you connect the drive, it's the D drive in this case, and it takes maybe 3 minutes sitting at the gigabyte loading screen. This is a gigabyte motherboard. You cannot enter the BIOS, you cannot boot into Windows, but if you leave it, have a cup of coffee, come back, and it will eventually, on its own, load into Windows. You can see now it's looking at this PC like it's trying to find something. It's not totally happy. We can right click on the drive and go to properties, and let's see what we have. Well, you can see nothing happens. What will happen now is it will take a long time to eventually come back and show us the drive properties. It will take so long that in fact I will have to speed up this section of the video. Okay guys, you can see it took several minutes, at least maybe 3 minutes, and eventually we can see we have a hard drive D, but there's 0 bytes used and 0 bytes free. I'm interested to see how Tenorshare is going to respond to this drive. So let's run Tenorshare. And straight away it's found a lost partition. So we have the system drive. F, this is the 1 terabyte drive I've already recovered those lost video folders to. I'm going to use it again to recover some data from this one. It's found drive D, which has 0 bytes used of 349 gigabytes. And it shows a lost partition of almost 2,500 gigabytes. So let's scan this lost partition and see what we get. Well, once again, it's asked us what type of file do we want to recover. So I'm going to click on all file types and let it scan. It's saying this is going to take a few hours, 3 hours, 3 hours 30. It's a very large hard drive with a lot of data, so I'll just leave it and see if it does take the full time or if it finds all the files that it can find before that time is completed. I've left the Tenorshare 4DDIG software running a while, and you can see now we have about 151,000 files. It has about 1 hour and 50 to go, and it's still finding files. Not all the time, it has a little break sometimes, and it will find more and more. We can either allow the software to complete, but we do have an option with Tenorshare to actually pause or stop the scan and recover the files that are already found. And we can actually have a look to see what we have. So for instance, we can go into the deleted files folder. We have some folders in here, Leo's music. So you can see this is containing quite a lot of, I'm guessing, MP3 files, top 40 singles, and there we have, yeah. So we have lots and lots of files in here. Let's have a look around at a few more on here. So what do we have? The Nows, 1 to 50, lots of Now albums on here. Yeah, and you can see there's lots and lots of files in here. And you can actually preview the files before you recover them. I'm going to stop the scan to keep this video a little bit shorter, and let's see if we can recover some of these folders. Do you want to stop scanning? Yes. So assuming we think we have enough files, and it tells us we have 151,400 files, we can now recover some of these files to our hard drive, the 1 terabyte. So let's, for instance, go to this folder here. Let's have a look how big it is. Yeah, it's about 10 gigabytes. So let's just say we want to recover that one, the UK number ones. We have about 13.3 gigabytes here now. And we can choose to recover this to the same hard drive that we used previously, which has the Lazarus folder on. So on here, we'll make a new folder, and we will call this one Leo. Leo. Okay. And we're now recovering lots and lots of files. It'll take, I guess, a few minutes. It's going quite quickly. We can see 6%. I'll just speed up this part of the video, and we'll see what we end up with. You can see we've recovered 3,400 files from hard drive, about 13 gigabytes. I can view the recovered, and it's gone to the drive, the F drive. And you can see now we still have the Lazarus folder, and we have a Leo folder in here for DDIG, D, deleted files, Leo's music, and we have 2 folders here. Let's have a look if any of these files are working. I'll just pick something completely at random. Let's go to 1970s. Yeah, that'll do. Is it working? Yes, you can hear it playing, yeah? So it's definitely working. Let's just grab another one. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear it. So we've definitely recovered the files on this hard drive. Okay, that was definitely a success. I have to say, guys, I'm really impressed with the Tenorshare 4DDIG software. I'll freely admit to being a little bit skeptical at first, but I was asked to review the software fairly and able to make my own decisions how I was going to test it, and that was my best ideas. I thought that second one probably wouldn't work, in actual fact, and I was proven wrong. There were many recovered files. I'm sure there were many more files on that hard drive. So I'll be able to get in touch with the customer now and ask him if he still wants his data recovery. One of the things I really liked about this, I have used data recovery software before, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. But generally, the free software I've used involved me having to use a command prompt and basically type in commands to try to recover data. Whereas this is so simple to use. It's on the desktop. I can just click on it, attach the hard drive, and it will just do its magic. Yeah, it just does its magic, and it does that while I can just get on with doing something else. So I have to say, I thoroughly recommend the software to you guys if you're doing repair work and you think you can do some more work on the side doing this sort of data recovery from hard drives, from USB storage devices, SD cards, I'm sure you'll find that the cost of this software is very, very quickly recovered in work you can do with it. And likewise, if you have your own data that's gone missing, who can really put a value on that, those priceless images and videos and music and whatever you have on there? So once again, I can absolutely recommend the software. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I will see you all soon on another Learn Electronics Repair video. Ciao for now.